This is Dean Johnson, and the time is 7 minutes to 4 in the afternoon, and it is on February the 19th, 2014. And the place of this interview is the ABC restaurant in Clearbrook. And the name of the person I'm interviewing is Norm Stitilis. And I'm doing this interview for the project, Reclaiming the New Westminster Waterfront Project. So, first of all, where on the waterfront did you work? Where on the waterfront did you work?
In New Westminster.
Okay. Now, what were the names of the firms you worked for?
Oh, there's all kinds of them. Empire, Western, that's
Canadian?
yeah, Canadian, and then there's that one that is near that coal place across the street.
Yeah.
At the foot of 10th Street.
Yeah, at the foot of 10th Street. It was PCT, but yeah.
PCT was another one.
And the other one for all the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evans Coleman Evans?
Evans Coleman and Evans.
Was it?
Yeah. That was it. And how did you like working for them?
With all these outfits?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Just that I had to go all these different places to get a check every payday. You had to go to individual offices to get a check.
So you'd work one day here and one day there, and then with different companies, and you had to spend. Or was it a Friday or a Thursday?
Yeah, I forget. Thursday, I think it was. Yeah. Okay.
That is good. So it was a Thursday?
I think it was Thursdays.
Yeah, you had to spend your day walking around.
Yeah. and then we'd stop off at the pub to cash our checks.
The pubs loved that.
Yeah.
Because they knew they had you for a while.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And what type of business was these companies you worked for?
Oh, it was loading lumber, different metals. There was bulk metals, and then there was the ingots and sacks.
Okay. So when did you start working for all these different companies? When did you start Longshoreing?
December 27th, 1959.
Oh, yeah. And how did you learn about the opportunity to go to work on the beach?
My dad's buddy saw that I wasn't working around Christmas time, and he says, hey, it's a good chance of getting on around Christmas time because a lot of guys are celebrating and not at work, so yeah, I could get on then, and I did.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good. So, how did you get the job?
Oh yeah, you had to go in the hall and sort of try to stand out, and they would go look at the crowd and say, you. If you want a job, you can have a job.
Right, it was sort of a pick.
Yeah, Curtis Smith.
Shape up.
Not Curtis Smith, what was his name? Not Curtis Smith, sure.
No, it wasn't Doc. It was it Doc Cope?
Yes, Doc Cope.
Doc Cope. He was the one that picked you out.
Yeah.
You're here and there.
I heard if you buy him a bottle, you get picked more often.
Yeah, well, you heard a lot of stories about Doc Cope.
Yeah, right.
So that's how you got your job.
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you?
I was 19.
19 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any other experience that helped you with longshoring before you got that job?
No, I was really just finished school of 6 months before that, and I was skin and bone. I think I weighed 142 pounds and 6'1". In about 6-8 months, I started packing on the pounds muscle.
Did your dad's friend introduce you to Doc Cope, or did he do anything? You just tell you about it?
No, he just told me about it. No, he didn't introduce me to nobody.
No, he didn't sort of help. He just let you know. And that was it. Oh yeah. Did you know anybody else working there when you started?
No, I don't think so. No.
No, just all by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, now What? So you knew nothing about longshoremen at all?
No,
Nothing like that.
no.
And did you need any special training to start longshoremen and that?
No, it was all just labor. Yeah, the old timers quickly taught you how to do the job, and they'd straighten you out if you didn't do your share.
Okay, this is going to be the good part I'm waiting to listen to. Tell me about your first day at work. What happened that day?
Oh, I was on a mud ship, bulk mud. I think it was zinc ore or something, or I forget what kind of ore it was, but they have these metal skiffs down below, and you had to shovel the stuff into them. And I was just shoveling away, and there's one guy happened to be standing inside of it. It was Ted Gerling. And
You're a pretty big guy, pretty well.
yeah, oh, he had tattoos and real strong scrapper. Anyway, I didn't realize I was shoveling coal into his boots. And I looked up and I saw this, and he put his hands on his hip and says, "You're driving me home tonight."
That's crazy. So what did you think about that job?
Yeah, it was just okay. The money was good. I think I was making a few cents more than my dad. He was a mill worker, so I was pretty proud of that.
And was it a very tiring job the first day?
Oh yeah, since I was out of shape, it was tough to keep up with the rest of them.
Okay. Well, now after that, what made you decide to stay longshore after that first day?
Well, I started to get to know a few nice guys, and the money was good. That was about all I thought about at that time.
Yeah, same with me. The money was good.
Yeah.
They hooked me with money and enticed me with benefits.
Yeah.
I always said to myself. Yeah.
And the variety. I enjoyed the variety of work. It wasn't constantly one thing all the time. It was different things you were doing. It was,
Yeah, different cargoes you were loading and different
yeah,
things and stuff like that.
made it interesting.
Yeah. Now, so you didn't do the same thing every day. What things did you do? What type of jobs did you do?
Oh, we loaded lumber into the ships. Like to bring a load down there, and we had to take plank by plank and set it out like flooring, and then put another layer on top of it, another layer on top of it until we filled up the whole hatch. That was the lumber part.
What was a lumber part? Describe butting out.
Butting out. That was when there was maybe 15 feet or so. You put a plank on one end of the bulkhead, and then you put another plank on the end of that, and before you know it, you're getting close to the other end, and you had to judge the length of that and go to the load and pick a board that would fit into that space.
Okay. Now,
You got to do that for the whole load.
right. Did you have to? How big a crew did you work into?
There was how many crew?
Yeah, how big a crew? How many men in the gang?
Oh, there was 8 workers down below, 2 winch drivers, and a hatch tender, then 2 slingmen. 8 men down below. They were divided into offshore and shoreside, 4 and 4.
And what did a hatch tender do?
Oh yeah, the hatch tender. He gave signals to the winch driver, and yeah, that's about what he did.
Was he the head of the gang? Did he have?
Yeah, he was sort of like the head of the gang. Yeah, but that was his job, I guess, to give signals.
Anything else? Any other responsibilities did the hatch tender have?
I guess safety, supposedly.
And what about setting the gear?
Oh yeah, he sort of showed you how to set the gear. If and you had to set it the way he wanted it. That's right too. Yeah, you had to set it the way he wanted it.
And the standing gear, nobody knows what it is.
Oh,
You talk about explain standing gear.
oh, jeez. Well, one boom was swung out. There was 2 booms. One on each side of the ship, each side of the hatch, sort of. The one closest to the dock was swung over the dock, and the other one was usually set up so that it was set up so that it was on the edge of the offshore side of the hatch, and you had to do it down with a preventer and what the heck was it? The line that you pulled it across.
Lazy guy?
The lazy guy, yeah, the lazy guy. You pulled the boom over the lazy guy, which is a rope with a couple of pulleys on it to give you leverage, and you pulled the boom into place, tied it down, and then you put a preventer, which was the cable, and that fixed it in that particular position.
You know, Bobby Allen, he made that lovely model of a ship,
Oh yeah.
and it's in the hall,
Oh really?
and he's got all the gear, you know, all done. But you know what he missed? The lazy guy.
No.
Yeah, he's got all the gear sitting there, but no lazy guy.
Oh yeah, the lazy guy. Was that the one that went in between?
Yeah,
the
but in between them, and you pulled them, you know, and that
Oh
tightened them up.
yeah.
Held them together.
But the rope that you pulled the boom
There
off.
was a preventer and a guy. The guy,
Just a guy, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy is the one you pulled the
Yeah,
boom out into
yeah,
position. And
yeah.
then you did the preventer.
Yeah.
And then you did that on both sides, and then you pulled the lazy guy
Yeah.
in the center to tighten
well,
everything up.
you hooked into the want something into the dock. You hooked the
Yeah,
hook,
yeah.
and it had and they pulled it in with the winches,
Yes.
and then you tighten up the lazy guy.
That's right. Yeah.
That was it.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Now, can you describe a typical day's work from the start, from the time you get up in the morning? What did you do to the time you got home?
You mean-
On a good boy day,
A good working day?
on a good boy's day, when you were a good boy, not a bad boy.
Well, had breakfast, got into the car, or even walked down if I had my license taken away. I had to walk down into the Westminster to the hall to get a job, and hope to heck it's someone will drive me there to the particular ship if I wasn't driving myself. And after the day was gone, either I'd go home, or if I was a good boy, if I wasn't, I might stop off with a few beers with the guys. And then go home.
Yeah.
And hesitate to go home because I know I'm going to get shit for it.
With me, you know, I grab a few beer, and it'd be a little late, and I said, well, I'm not get shot for as cheap as a lamb. I'm staying there.
Yeah, right.
That's what I used to think. Okay. Was there any specialized training that you received at your time?
Well, later on,
Yeah.
I took every training course I could. If I had the seniority, I took bulldozer, forklift first, I guess, and then bulldozer, and then the winches.
Well, how did you get your job? How was it set up for your ratings and to get a job in the morning?
Well, on your ratings, you had a little pin on your plate.
Well, this pin and this plate, explain that situation.
The 3 or 4 categories that you might have been qualified to work with all had different colored pins, and you'd have them all on your plate, and they'd call those particular jobs first, and if you didn't make any one of them, then you'd go out as a laborer on one, there'd be another work pin running around it.
I know, we tried to get every rating we could,
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
and I had every rating that I could get.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it meant, hey, why do manual labor where you can sit in a machine?
Oh yeah, and you had more cracks at it.
Yeah,
at
more
getting the
cracks to the
too.
job and everything else,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. Were the jobs only for men, or was there any women coming?
No, there was no women. No, not till much later.
Yeah,
Sam Regret's wife got a job in the hall.
yeah,
He's the one that he drove the forklift off the ship accidentally and
yeah.
drowned, and we gave his wife a job. That was, I think, the first woman that worked on the waterfront. Because she had quite a lot of kids and stuff
Yeah.
to look after.
But she didn't stick around long, I don't remember.
No, I don't know how long she was there. Maybe less than a year, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know Why? I mean, it was good money. Maybe she got married again or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Was there any discrimination that you had or you knew of it that happened on the docks?
I don't think so. No.
No.
We had all types.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had East Indians and Native Indian. That's
Yeah.
what Ivers was.
Yeah.
Native, and most of them did all the work. Jack Singh, well, he might know.
Well, if you worked on the docks, you worked for Jack Singh.
Then you did all the work.
That was just Jack
I
Singh.
know,
But everybody, he was a real good guy.
Oh, yeah,
And I
his
mean, that's why he could get away with so much.
Yeah, good personality. Yeah.
The old saying was at West Shore, if you work for West Shore, you work for Jack Singh.
Yeah.
But he was he was such a nice, likable guy that he got away with all kinds of stuff.
He got away with anything.
Yeah. What did you think of the pay and the benefits then?
Well, that was great. That's what mainly hung around for. It was good pay. Yeah, had a good, strong union behind you. If the employer was trying to get rid of you, you had to talk to the union first before you could really get rid of you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's disadvantages to that too, I guess, but at the time I thought that was the greatest thing around.
Mm-hmm. Now, once you were started in your first years, how did you learn the job?
The old-timers taught you.
They taught you everything.
Yeah, just the old-timers taught you.
There was no training in the early years.
Well, the forklift, yes, I had to go to Vancouver.
What year was that?
You had to be...
Probably late 60s? Or?
Yeah, maybe... Yeah, I would think so. I became a member... I started in 59, became a member in 63.
Yeah.
And so it was a year or two after that, I think I took the training for the forklift. And I had to go to Vancouver for that.
Oh, yeah.
They had a warehouse set up there with a bunch of pallet boards set up on edge. And you had to take a pallet board, and the ones on edge were about a foot further apart than the tray that you were carrying, and you had to go through a maze with this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And there was tin cans set on top of the vertical ones, and if you had not hit it, the tin cans would fall over, and then you'd get held for it. You know? Watch where you're going. Or if you're driving backwards and weren't watching where you're going, they'd come along with a stick and they'd hit the hood of the machine and scare the hell out of you and says, "Hey, you watch where you're going when you're driving backwards."
That's good training.
Yeah, that was good training. Yeah, and then bulldozer was a Neptune dock inside the shed. I remember we had to drive our bulldozer on top of the pile and try to level a little bit off and stuff on top, and then come back down again. And I remember Emo Cormanac, he was up on top of the pile. It was his turn. And all of a sudden they started to, he was at the top and they started to load the ship. And of course, the top of the pile that he was on caused a little funnel. And he started going into this funnel. You're seeing this black smoke of him trying to get the cat out of there. He never drove cat again.
I mean, that would be...
He didn't even come the next day. That's it.
Well, at that same dock, Ford got completely, his cat went down and he got completely covered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, old Ford.
Oh, yeah.
And he was foreman at the time and he went down there.
Oh.
And what happened, it was raining so much, it got so much water there, but he went up there and it was just like quicksand, and the cat and everything just went down with it.
Oh.
But it didn't, he thought it was feet above him.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't see nothing, but it was only a slim, an inch or something of coal on top of him, but all the sides was all black.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
they dug
scary.
them out, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a training. Well, now, what was PCT like as a doc? Describe PCT.
That was usually, I don't know, you had scows out there to load the lumber up from the scow there, or else you were loading metal. or maybe we were unloading or loading apples.
How many berths did PCT have?
4.
It was what?
A, B, C, D.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
I thought it was 1A and 1...
Well, we call it 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why you put ones in front.
Yeah, I don't know. And did you ever work in the freezer?
No. Oh, in the freezers in the ship, but not in the
Not at PCT.
Not in PCT. No.
So, describe PCT to me.
Oh, you mean the building?
Well, yeah, the buildings and what it looked like. You're walking in, describe what the workplace.
I don't know. Well, yeah, there wasn't much room between the building and the docks. I remember it was quite congested there with the train tracks and all that. But with train tracks, I thought that steam locomotive that they had there, I thought that was impressive. And they kept up that thing up like a gym. Remember that? I don't know where it got to. But.
That was the smallest complete railroad in the world at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And even had a turntable, remember? They could run it in and turn it around and come back out again.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to that. Would be something to look into. Whatever happened to that?
Yeah, because it was a mint shape, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. They kept it really up in shape and it went on. It was really something. I wish I had pictures of it now.
Yeah, I never did take a picture of it.
No. Steam coming out and going down and down. Yeah, that was really good. And then, did you need any special tools or clothing or anything?
Oh, I had a leather apron.
Yeah, no. Describe that.
It's just an apron you wore so you wouldn't wear your damn pants out. Well, I didn't have a bib type. Some guys had a complete, had a bib on it and it went down to his knees. Me, I just had one strapped around my waist and went down to about my knees.
Yeah, that's what I had too.
I started off with my dad's one that he used in the sawmill. It was already nice and shiny, so it made it look like I was right in there.
Yeah, you were an old pro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And, well, what was being K-Doc like?
Geez, I don't know.
Just a regular dock with a big Backman crew building on it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any special cargo went on the ships from there?
It was in such bad shape, I think it was only scour.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was only scour.
Zinc and stuff is usually at 1C or 1B, man.
Well, what's this? How do they load the zinc at 1C? At PCT dock.
Of course, there was lead too.
Yeah. How did they load these things?
They were in ingots in a, I forget how many there were in a pile, but the pile was about, that was slung up was about foot and a half by foot and a half, and maybe 2.5, 3 feet high.
Yeah, I think it was about 45 bars
Could be.
to a load. I don't know whether that was zinc.
Yeah, zinc was, the ingots were 65 pounds apiece, and the lead was 100-pound bars.
Yeah, 100. I thought it was 112.
It felt like it, yeah.
Yeah. And you had to do that. How did you load that?
By hand. We broke the bands when the load got down below, and we spread it around on the floor of the ship.
And now explain to me as it came down. What did you have it? What did you land it on?
We had to land it on a couple 4x4s so they can get the slings out from under, or the chain was what you used, so they can get the chain sling off to sling up the next load. So we had to have 4x4s spread apart about a foot or so we can get the sling off.
And then did you get a dolly in there with you?
Oh yeah, if we had to go in the wings with it, we'd land the load on the dolly, yeah, and then pull this wagon into the corners.
And what was this dolly like?
Well, it was
What was it made of?
Iron, mostly iron. It was a heavy son of a gun itself. Mm-hmm. I don't think 2 men, I don't think, could lift the damn thing itself.
Oh yeah. The tires, were they inflated tires or?
No, they were just hard rubber.
Hard rubber.
Pretty sure they were, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Solid rubber, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you like that job?
No, I didn't mind it at all. It was nice, a nice clean job. Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. Yeah.
Yeah, most people didn't mind it.
And lumber, if we were loading lumber, I preferred the heavier stuff. This 1-inch stuff, it seemed like you had to pack 3 or 4 pieces at a time, and they would scissor on you, and it was a nuisance. I'd rather have a 3x9 or something.
Yeah, 3x9 was good.
Yeah,
That was good
yeah.
work. 3x9s. And well, 2x6s, 2x8s were good too. 2x6s,
Yeah.
because you could use the load, to flip them off and you could do it yourself.
yeah.
3x9s you couldn't handle by yourself.
No, not that they're too long. Yeah. If they're over 10 feet or so, you had a partner.
When you were working on the docks, did you have interaction with other companies that weren't stevedoring companies?
Huh?
Did you have any interaction with employees that worked for other companies, not just stevedoring companies?
I don't think so. Did I?
And I know I never had.
No, I don't think so. No.
No, it was just all that.
Yeah, it's just.
Okay, now let me see what else we can ask you here to keep this going, eh? Oh yeah, now changes in the work and technology, mainly for those with cargo handling jobs. That's for us. Now, how do the machines and the tools and equipment that you use change over the years?
Oh yeah, it made it a lot easier. The gang sizes became smaller because the machines were taking all the loads. There was no more dollies to be dragged around. The machines were great. The forklifts were a challenge to drive on top of other cargo. Sometimes there'd be holes and stuff. You had to straddle over holes with.
Really in the detail how you drove over other cargoes.
Well, if there was large holes, you would put a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood over it, or maybe sometimes if you were carrying heavy stuff on your forklift, they'd have steel plates that you put on top of this stuff over the holes. Mm-hmm. And you had to watch it. The people that were walking around had to kind of watch it. That if the forklift spun one of these things, and flung it across the
hatch.
Yeah, the hatch. You had to be ready to jump out of the way. Mm-hmm. But,
And how was it like stowing the cargo with a forklift in the hatch?
That was an interesting job, especially when there's lumber in different sizes. You had like we used to put the lumber in. You had if the hatch was 60 feet long, you could get 4 15s. There wasn't no 15s. There was 14 or 16 foot.
Yeah.
Anyway, you had to work it out so you didn't blow very much space on the end, and that was quite crucial. They really wanted to get as much lumber in that hatch as they could, so you had to not blow very much spaces.
And how did the technology change through the years? The gear, how did that change from single winches?
Oh yeah, went to single winches, which were run by steam.
Well, explain these steam winches.
Oh, the steam winches, they were tough old things. On the Liberty ships there, they were lifting a heavy load. The winches were nice and strong. You could actually see sometimes the floor that they were fastened to would be starting to rise if they were packing a heavy load. Mm-hmm. And they would shake the whole deck when they were rumbling along, but they were tough.
Oh yeah.
Strong winches. I don't know what would be the limit that they would.
Well, all we did was turn a few twist of steam off.
Oh yeah.
That's all we did.
Yeah.
Open the valve a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then.
Oh yeah, and then we got into automation, or how far did you want to?
From 2 winch drivers, each one. Then you went to a single winch driver. How did that happen?
Oh well,
with steams and stuff.
Oh well, then we had the swinging sticks, I guess.
Yeah.
That was a big boom in the center that would swing back and forth. Mm-hmm. Or some ships, since the docks there didn't have any gear of their own, they had to have ships that could unload themselves. They had to have their own gear. There were swinging sticks or And then we eventually got into cranes.
I remember that we had to work on a different set of gear almost every day.
Yeah.
And it went from, and what I found the hardest for me was single steams. You had the steam, they were out there and you had the bars here and you're trying to get both.
Oh yeah, they worked both winches with one guy. Yeah. That's
How did you like that?
I didn't mind it. Once I got the hang of it, it took a while to get the hang of it, but once I got the hang of it,
This is, instead of being right here for stop, this was stop.
yeah. Stop wasn't neutral all the time. No. If you wanted to stop, it was usually ahead a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, usually it was. The old Johnson bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now the cranes. What type of cranes did they have?
Well, there's hydraulic, and they had electric. I guess is just the two. I think the hydraulics are noisier than something. In fact, that's why I have hearing aids. I think because you'd climb up maybe 30 feet or so to get into that thing, and you get yourself all set up in there, and you turn the switch on, and all of a sudden you hear this big howl. And you wondered, well, should I do the 2 hours and wait till coffee break before I get some cotton batten is what all they had for you? Or should I just carry on? Usually I carried on till coffee time and then got this cotton, which really didn't help much.
No, but we all did that.
Yeah.
How did you like driving the hydraulics compared to the electrics?
Oh, the electrics were good. Some electrics were fast. The notches were either slow or the next notch would be quite a bit faster. So if you're driving two winches like that, Jesus, you had to really watch it.
I preferred the hydraulics. I could feel it better. I could feel the load and I could feel it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was almost like my extension of my own arm.
Yeah.
The electrics were too, you couldn't feel nothing. You just
just click, 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 and
yeah. And so the forklifts, which you started, was you were changing the forklifts that you drove in your career?
Heisters were the best. That's definitely.
Yes, they were the best.
They would turn on a dime. They were stable. You could see through the booms. Quite easy to see your load. But we did Clarks, and there's all different makes.
All different ones, but did you ever drive Strads?
Yeah. Oh, and PCT. Yeah, I drove Strad. Yeah, bringing the loads to the ship. Yeah.
Explain what a Strad is.
Strad is a carrier that would drive over the top of a load that had blocks on it, special blocks and then you'd pull the lever and it would clamp on the sides of get a hold of the blocks, and then you lift it up a few inches, and then you drive it to the ship and set it down and get another one and just keep going on and on. I remember one of the carriers was a convertible and had a canvas back on it.
Yeah.
And we used to get from the cold storage, get a bunch of ice and put it on that canvas when it was at the back, and buy a bunch of beer in it. And you're up so high in the saddle, there's not.
The foreman don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. And did you drive carrier overseas?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, in fact, we drove from overseas to PCT, bringing lumber or plywood to the docks, to the PCT part.
Yeah, I mean, you even had to go on a road, a public road. Just between.
Sort of.
Yeah,
close to the tracks there.
Yeah, you had to go over
that was a public road, at one time.
Did you ever hear a story about a certain guy with a forklift driving what was it? Is a 12? He either had a 12 pack with a forklift down Columbia Street to get to the dock.
Really? Just for the hell of it?
Len Truman.
Len Truman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All gassed up.
Oh, yeah.
I never saw it, but I heard about it that same day it happened. It's supposed to have happened. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
I remember on the car ship, somebody was unloading cars, and he took one of the cars to the pub. I don't know if he got away with it or not. I don't know.
Well, that was he was always going to blow up the hall. That's the guy who did that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what was his name? I got it on the tip of my tongue, but he was always going to blow up the hall whenever he got mad.
Oh yeah.
And he took it to the turf.
To the turf.
Right.
To the turf.
Right.
Oh, that's over the bridge.
Yeah,
Over the
and he left it there.
Oh.
And he came back with some big bail. And so other guys drove him back.
Jeez.
And I think it was Brian Ringrose that had to tell him to, or if it wasn't Brian, it was the president.
To bring it back.
No, yeah, Brian Ringrose wasn't president at the time, no. But the president at the time had to tell him, hey, you won't get charged, nothing. Just bring it back to the top. So he went and got it and brought it back.
Oh yeah. I remember loading the cars. At first, we used to load the cars onto the carriers ourselves. We figured it's all our work. Mm-hmm. Jesus, that was scary as hell.
Yeah, it was going up there.
Yeah, you couldn't see the track that you.
No.
Oh, I'm glad we gave that up.
Yeah, there wasn't too much fight about giving that up.
No.
Us guys that did it, we didn't fight too much. We said, oh, yeah, let him.
Yeah, let that go.
Yeah, let that go. Okay. Now, about overseas. About how many births were in overseas?
I think there was 7, 6, 5. I think there was 4. I think there's number 7, number 6, 5, 4. 4.
Maybe 4 or 5, because I know Westminster could hold 15 births. Had 15 births.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I think you had 5 at PCT.
Of course, they're smaller ships than these, yeah.
And then you had B&K docks.
Yeah.
And then you had overseas.
Yeah.
And they were smaller ships. Like that.
Yeah.
So, what cargo did overseas do? What did they have? What
Plywood usually.
Plywood.
Mainly plywood. Made of a little bit of lumber out in the back there. They had some lumber. Mm-hmm. And that was that brought to you by I think that was brought to you by forklift. You had must have been short lumber.
Yeah. You know, and overseas, any lumber we had to do with strads.
Yeah. They had strads there. That's right too.
That's it. Any lumber with strads. Plywood was always with forklift.
Yeah.
I got to pay out of that out of overseas for nothing. And I'm trying to find Brian Ross. He's over there on a forklift. And so I see him there and I get on the forklift and stop and I'm talking to him. And the old superintendent, I won't mention the name, he says, hi Dean. And I says, hi, hey, make sure I'm on the payroll, okay. And I was just joking. I was on the payroll.
What was that little guy's name?
I think it was McCurry. Yeah. I was on the payroll. So I didn't do nothing. What the heck, you know?
Yeah, he didn't have much of a sense of humor, did that guy?
Well, I didn't know him very. You know, all I did was he was a nice guy. But I mean, he was always not putting me on the payroll. So when you worked there, you always sort of let him know you were working there. And I wasn't working there. I was just talking to Brian because I forget what it was about. And I said, oh, I saw Bill. Hi, Bill, make sure I'm on the payroll. Okay, Dean.
I remember going for coffee at overseas.
Yeah, tell me about that coffee shop there. From the very beginning, the bus and
they'd pick a guy out of the crew and says, hey, you're going for coffee for the gang. So then you get a list and up the ladder you went for coffee and you got it and you brought it back and they usually you gave the hatch tender and the winch drivers their coffee and the hatch tender would tell you to put the rest of the coffee on the load of lumber or plywood or something and then he would signal and put it down. I remember this one time I forgot his name, the grumpy old hatch tender anyway. He says, put my coffee and donut on the rail. So I put his donut on top of this coffee on the rail, and then he put the rest of the load on the rest of the coffee on the load and gave signals to put it down. And he looked over his shoulder, and here was a seagull. And it was one of these seagulls that had a lame leg, and the leg was hanging down. And it came flying by, and he saw it, and he said, shoo, 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 and it didn't listen to him at all. It grabbed his donut, and with his lame leg hanging down, he knocked his coffee into the drink. Well, that pissed him off.
Oh,
He put that coffee down below, and he walked down to the dock and got his own coffee. Got the guy. He had a whole bunch of kids.
well,
Anyway.
was it Pels? Did you a French guy?
No. But anyway, he was a grumpy old. It couldn't happen to a better guy.
Oh, yeah. Now, at the elevator, dock, what was your first time you ever worked there?
I don't know. I guess that would have been sack jobs. I guess. I know we did
Grain, and we had to, I remember I was in there,
Yeah.
you would have grain, you have to shovel it in the hatch.
Yes.
You'd have a bunch of guys going down there, would count it, so you count back up.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't leave you down there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Dustier than hell down there.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have canaries there. They would have died.
Yeah.
That's probably why they didn't have it.
A canary, now that's a piece of equipment.
Oh, the canary.
Explain what a canary is.
Canary's about a 3/8 steel rod that has a hook on one end and a handle on the other end. It's about 4 feet long, maybe a little bit more than that. And you'd pull a sling from underneath the load. This is to sling the loads up. You'd have to put the hook through underneath the load, and the guy would put the eye of the sling in the hook, and then you'd drag it through. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I guess
Something like
that's
that.
Yeah.
I don't know why the hell they call it a canary. You got me there.
I don't know. I never. I never asked. I didn't want anybody to think I was that stupid. I would ask.
That's
so.
right. No, the old timers would have said, "Go back to the hall" or something.
Yeah, so I never asked. Oh, yeah, I just.
Just do your thing, yeah.
Right. And they used them on the scow to put the sling through and pull it up.
Yeah. It's quite a useful tool, I mean.
Right. So there's two kinds of canaries: the real canary and the one with the tool.
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, when Fraser Suey got going, what type of jobs did you do there?
Well, the pad ships, I guess, came in there, and I took the training on the trucks that would park the containers or the trailers with containers on them, I guess, and I had to store them on the yard if they were taken off the ship. I remember this once I was driving forklift on the dock, and since I was supposed to be qualified to drive truck, this teamster wasn't allowed to back his truck onto the pad ship because that's longshoremen's work to load the ships. Mm-hmm. So I had to get in this guy's private truck and back this container onto the pad ship. Well, all these guys are snickering at me because I was pulled from a forklift onto this. I had an easy job there, onto this damn doing this job, and of course, the driver got on there with me, and he showed me the right gears to use, and I got the damn container on the ship and all that eventually, and because when you back it up, you look in the rearview mirror,
Yeah.
and all you see is sky. You don't see the container you're pushing. Oh,
Yeah.
that was a bitch. But when I finished, that's when I had to laugh. The foreman says, "Well, we can't change you back to being a forklift driver. I guess you're going home." So I had the last laugh.
You had the last laugh. Okay. Yeah, they couldn't switch it twice.
That's right. Yeah.
Only once. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah. That was so. What was your main job at Fraser Suey Docks when you went out there to work?
Mostly driving forklift. Yeah, mostly driving forklift, bringing cargo to the ship.
And what were these pad ships? Explain what they were.
Well, they had a ramp at the back that dropped down on an angle to the dock, and I guess it's about 20 feet wide, maybe. And you loaded and unloaded it by driving your machines on and off the ship to the different decks once you got aboard.
I think it was a bit more than 20 feet. I would say, because we used to put 26 footers and 24 footers.
Okay, it might have been wider, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and where did it go? What was that pad stand for?
Pacific Australia Direct.
Okay, so that's what it went for.
Yeah, I guess so.
Any stories about the pad when you were on there, or were you a good boy?
Most of the time. I remember taking somebody's Jaguar off the ship. I thought that was a neat job. Mm-hmm. But I had to back it out of the parking spot. And of course, the steering wheel was on the other side. And when I went to back up, I put my elbows. I went to back up. I put my right elbow. I almost didn't smash the window, but I hit the window because I was going to look where I'm going. Anyway, I got that off already. There was some liquor involved, I think, on those ships once in a while. But loading lumber onto it was just, I think usually you brought the loads of lumber on crossways on your forklift, and you brought it aboard that way.
And then usually we had those trucks, little trailer trucks. They load the lumber on the trailer and we drive it right in.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy inside would unload it.
That's right, yeah.
And so you were mostly unloaded today, or do you work for Doc?
Both. I've done both. Yeah, both.
Yeah. And where did the longshoremen congregate? Usually after work.
In a pub.
In a beer parlor? Okay.
Yeah.
Which ones did they really like?
Oh, the Dunsmuir, the Windsor. What was it? There was another one up the street there.
There was a Russell?
Oh, yeah, it was the Russell. I'm thinking about Russell and the King Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The King Ed.
Yeah. And then sometimes guys would go into the pool hall down there on about 4th Street or something. There was an old pool hall there.
Yeah, you could get up from Front Street through a bunch of stairs.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't even know if that's still there or not.
And the Pastime Club, we used to go there for lunches. Oh, that Chinese guy that worked in there all by himself.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of longshoremen come in at one time, and he'd take your order. He didn't write it down. He said, "What do you want? What do you want?" And then you go in the kitchen and cook it all up.
Yeah, and it didn't take long either.
No, and he'd bring out the meals to the right people.
Right.
He had a memory like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
and he made the best rum, hot buttered rums. In the wintertime, that was the place to go to get it.
Oh, yeah. What was that in place at Nate? What did they call that?
That was the Pastime.
Pastime, the Pastime Club.
Pastime Club.
Yeah. I remember that was some club and the guys playing cards in the back room.
Yeah. My dad used to go there.
Yeah. So that was really good.
Yeah.
Now, what types of people do you think worked on the waterfront?
What types of people? They're all nice guys.
Yeah. Were they well educated? Were they?
A few of them were. A few of them were well educated, and usually they end up being in the as presidents or something, or vice presidents. They end up in the.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Joe Briggs.
Yeah, Joe Briggs and that.
A few others that had good education.
What I remember was it didn't really lend itself to family men because when you first started, you couldn't get enough work to support a family.
Yeah. Trouble was
Were you married at the time?
No, I was on a spare board when I got married. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
married in 1961. Just a few months before I made membership. But even as a young member in the beginning, it wasn't that steady. If you worked 3 days a week, it was okay.
Yeah.
You could get by.
Because the wages were good. And then it got 4
3 days a week were pretty good. Yeah.
And I know I started in 61 and I had all the work I wanted because I was 17 and I didn't want to work all week. 2 days was great for me.
Yeah,
Just enough to have a payday for Thursday.
Yeah, but if you had a family, like I got married in 1961 and I had 3 kids in 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
All of them in diapers, cloth diapers.
Cloth diapers.
Yeah.
Well, I know when I got married, cloth diapers. I washed a lot of cloth diapers. I think I was in here. I washed a lot of them.
Yeah.
Cloth diapers. Wouldn't do it nowadays. So now, were there any? What about the social life of Longshoreman? Were there any clubs that it was picnics?
We had picnics. Not in the beginning, but later on, I think we did. Maybe it was early, but I wasn't invited. I don't know. And later on, we had our summer picnics.
Yeah. Where did we have those?
Caldas Lake, I guess.
I don't remember any place else but Caldas Lake.
Caldas Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, we rent the whole thing.
Yeah.
Out there. Yeah. And there was a baseball team.
Oh, I didn't get into that stuff.
No, but there wasn't there?
Yeah, I
it was
think
the River Rats, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get involved in that.
No, I wasn't really involved in that either. No. You know, that was a little after me.
Yeah.
And then there was a sportsman's club, I remember. Ailes was head of it.
Oh, no.
And he had a big banquet, I remember, at Laurel Towers. It was a 502 Sportsman's Club or something.
Oh, no, I didn't.
All the sportsmen, that's when the campers were coming in. Guys were buying campers for the pickup trucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Ailes was running it. He ran it. Well, I just thought maybe you might have been in there.
No.
Yeah. How did the union, what did it affect your job and your working conditions?
The working conditions with the union?
How did it affect? Was it a good thing, or when you think back on it, or a bad thing, or what?
No, it was a good thing. I think that union kept things going, and you had security. I think it was. If I lived my life over again, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And safety. From the time you started, how was safety done? And has it gotten better, or was it worse, or what? What do you
It's
think?
got a lot better. I remember since we had to use ship's gear, you didn't know what shape the ship's gear was in. And I remember when I was a hatch tender, I was sort of responsible had to stick my neck out and say, we're not working because this cable is too worn out, or the shackles got too much wear on it, the hook is not strong enough to lift the loads. I sort of that's what the hatch tender had to do. He had to say, hey, that's it, call it DOT or something if the company didn't want to adhere to supplying the safer gear to work with than what the ship had, or the ship wouldn't change the runners, then we'd stop work and get the DOT there, and he would say yes or no.
Well, tell me, when you went on a brand new ship, first day, the first morning, what did you do? When you're the hatch tender.
Check the gear.
Okay.
Check the gear and make sure everything is safe to work with. Yeah, the cables weren't frayed more than 10%. I forget how many frayed ends you could have in a foot or two. I walked around with the DOT a few times, so I wouldn't be calling him and not needed to. Mm-hmm. So I'd go around with him and ask him questions and stuff, so I knew what was safe and what wasn't safe. You told me to use it. If it was shackle, if it was worn, and you didn't know if it was worn enough to be, he says, well, you put a string around the good part and hold it there to see how much string, what the circumference was, and you take it to the worn part and wrap it around again and around the worn part. And if it's more than 10% worn, the hook, the shackle or hook had to be replaced. Mm-hmm. So I learned quite a bit from the DOT.
Oh yeah. And the cable. Did you ever have to shut down a ship?
Oh yeah.
On your own?
Yeah. And if the DOT said I should have worked it, I could have been in deep trouble. But,
So what happens when you go on and you look at the gear and the gear is bad? Let's say you go on
you stop. You don't go to work until it's replaced.
Okay.
Quite often the ship itself would replace the runners and stuff to make it safe.
And you're the hatch tender, and that's really all on your word.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah.
If you say work, everybody works. If you say don't, nobody works.
Yeah, especially if you had, unless there's somebody just as smart as me, or if you had a bunch of beginners under you, you know darn well you're the whatever you say it has to. You're responsible then.
Yeah, and I know that when I was young and get there, if I questioned some gear that I didn't think was right, I'd go to the hatch center first and say, hey, look, is this good? Is it not?
Yeah. And that's the way, I don't know, hatch tenders weren't taught anything, but going around with the DOT for a few times, you kind of catch on, and he was willing to tell you. I guess he didn't want to be called for nothing.
No. And the DOT is the Department of Transport. That's what the DOT.
Yeah.
And he had the last word.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, and he knew how to check stuff. Yeah. So learning from him, he was the best teacher around, no doubt.
Oh yeah. He had the last word. Yeah. Now, what else did a hatch tender responsibilities did hatch tenders have? Since you had your own gang.
Well, again, it's mostly safety, I guess. You had to make sure you weren't picking heavier loads than what the gear could hold. Sometimes it would be kind of nice if we could, because sometimes we want to get off early. We get a whole day's pay. There were quite a few guys who were willing to strap on heavier loads than what the gear could hold, and you had to be the character that says, no, that's too much. You had to be the guy to say it.
I know I've been in the winch driver, we were loading cement, and they would pack a load down there, and I could feel like, hey, it was really just at the edge, and I'd pick up with the train and going, because they wanted to get off early.
It was.
And the hatch tender would say, take it up. Well, that's the hatch tender.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just pulling the levers.
That's right. Yeah, the hatch tender was responsible for everybody. Yeah.
And what was the side runners responsible? You had the hatch tender, then you had the two sides.
Oh yeah, and one on each side was the side runner, and he was telling the other three how to store the stuff pretty well. Unless they all knew what each other's job was, they could do it themselves.
But he was really he got paid extra.
Yeah, he got 10 or 20 cents more an hour. I forget how much more.
And I remember up to 50 cents an hour more.
Oh yeah.
Because he had.
Because you were responsible for that side.
For that side, for that store.
Yeah.
If I remember, it was 50 cents. I don't even know if they still have hatch tenders in it anymore today. I'd like to see the old contract and see whether they.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now, did you ever get hurt on the job?
Yeah, I fell into a hold.
How was that? Tell us about that.
I must have stepped on some grease or something. I don't know. I was going down the ladder, which was welded to the bulkhead, and you had to squeeze through an 18-inch, maybe 2-foot diameter hole to get onto the ladder, and below that is the open hatch. And I squeezed through that and got through the hole, and all of a sudden, and I wasn't holding on tight enough, I guess, because one of my feet let go, and my hands let go, and I went to grab, and I started falling backwards. I went to grab for the runner, and my hand wasn't. I only got it on the tip of my fingers, and down I went. I fell 25 feet onto a load of lumber that was at the base of the ladder, and I bounced off of that onto the steel deck down below.
And how bad hurt were you?
I cracked my ankle, and I fractured my ankle and my wrist, but I couldn't pick up my head for a few days. But
how did they get you out of the hatch?
Oh yeah, they have this little stretcher that they bring down with the gear, and they take you up with that, and you.
Tell me about that. How about that experience?
Gee, that's kind of scary, because you're going up and all you see is this pulley drawing up this line, and you hope he stops. It was I guess it was it would have been one of these ones with the two booms. Because he had a
single gear.
Yeah, the double gear. Yeah. He had to take me over so he'd take me up on the mud and swing me over onto the dock and lower me onto the dock. kind of a funny feeling already.
Right. And then was there an ambulance or did they just come
Yeah,
in
the
driving?
ambulance came pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
The first aid man had put a blanket over on me, and Johnson, guess he was a superintendent or something.
Yeah.
He wanted his blanket back, and the longshoreman made sure the blanket stayed with me. And we had it for quite a few years in home. At the hospital, they put it in with my clothes. So I hung out of it as a souvenir for a while.
Oh, yeah. How long were you off?
A year.
A year with that.
Yeah. Actually, it was 6 months at first, and then I went back to work. My wrist re-broke. They didn't heal properly. I had to get operated by an orthopedic surgeon to fix the bone. And I was off another year. So I was off a year and a half altogether.
Wow. Well, that was a broken wrist and a broken ankle.
Yeah.
There must have been something else besides. That was long.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it just was shattered pretty bad. There was,
The little bone in my wrist called the scaphoid had cracked.
yeah.
And I guess they didn't think it was very much, but every time I bent my wrist back after it healed, the big bone called the radius would hit the little bone and reopen it.
Oh.
The orthopedic surgeon says, well, it's a simple surgery. I'll take a little piece off that big bone that hits the scaphoid, and with that little piece, I'll carve a dowel and put it and drive it right through the center of that delicate little bone that you cracked to strengthen it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a simple carpentry, he says. And it's the best wrist I got.
Wow. Yeah, that's good for that doctor.
Yeah.
Really good. Was that the only time you got hurt?
Yeah, that's the only time I got hurt on the waterfront, I think. Yeah.
Well, once is enough. Being off that long.
that
How was the compensation and stuff?
Well, that took a while to settle in and get started, and especially when I had 3 kids.
Yeah.
Wow, I think it took 6 weeks or something before I got my first check, and
Yeah.
things were pretty tough. It wasn't for my parents lending me money and stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough. Because when did that? I was only a member for 2 or 3 years when this happened. So my kids were maybe ages 1, 2, and 3 or something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever work on the scows?
Oh yeah.
What was that like, working on the scows?
It was all right. You had to make sure you kept clear when they're bringing a load of lumber down. But if it's logs or something, logs we load out on the ship from the scows.
But on the scows, climbing around the scows, was it easy or hard or what? Did you have any safety gear on when you were on the scows?
Yeah. We had to have a life jacket on, and there was a lifeboat tied to the outside.
No, so there was a safety boat tied to the outside.
Yeah, a safety boat. Yeah.
In case you fell in.
Yeah.
It was there. Okay. That's something. And you talked about logs. Now tell me about logs. You ever worked on logs?
Yeah.
Tell me what it was like.
That was dangerous.
Okay, tell me.
It was dangerous on the water because you stayed in one spot, they could sink maybe a little bit. You had to keep moving around. Until they start bundling them, that was a little bit better. But in the hold of the ship, that was dangerous because when he took the slings off, you didn't know where those logs are going to roll to.
Yeah.
Or even when they're bringing down into the hatch, you didn't know if the center ones are going to slide out and where are they going to go. Not too many places to hide.
No.
You just hope you pick the right rib to hide yourself in.
Right.
It's the right one.
They come shooting down.
Oh yeah.
It's a wonder people didn't get killed.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
One guy got his foot cut
Well,
off.
we've had smashed up and bad, hurt bad, but nobody got killed.
No, I don't think so. No.
Did you ever work the deep tanks?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, they were small. Maybe 30 by 20 or something like that. And he had 2 or 4 of them. And he had the side of the tunnel that's where the drive shaft of the ship. That's on the Liberty ships, I guess.
Yeah.
You didn't have much room in there. When they bring a load in, they couldn't bring it flat. They had to choke it and bring it down on an angle quite often. That the centerpieces wouldn't fall out. Same as the logs.
Yeah.
You hope you're standing in the right place.
Right. And even loads going into the hatch in those Liberty ships. You had to rest them on the combing and tip them to get under it.
Yeah.
And then tip them on the tween decks to get under again.
Yeah. The hatches were shorter in length than the loads were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, they never allow it today.
No.
Doing that, no. The things we did there.
Yeah, I guess the compo just never bothered coming to those ships.
Well, we were federal.
Yeah,
We weren't provincial.
That's right.
So the deal was that the compo had no jurisdiction over there, but they paid the compensation when anybody got hurt.
Yeah.
But they had no jurisdiction. We couldn't call the compo because we were under federal.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is why they got,
Just the way it was.
Yeah, just the way it was back then.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Things have got a lot safer now, Aaron.
Now, when we were that King Neptune restaurant that was there, remember? You ever go eat there? What it was like?
Oh, that was a nice seafood restaurant. Beautiful place. And then when they tore it, I remember working on the ship at Buckerfield was next to it. And I was on a crane and had my camera with me. And I was taking pictures of the guys working down below and stuff and whatever. And then I noticed it was early morning and the Samson started up and it was going to go upriver. And it was such a cold morning that it's steam, puffs of steam coming out of its stack looked kind of neat. And I got this lovely picture of the Samson going up the river just after it started up.
Did you ever get a picture of the King Neptune restaurant?
No.
That would have been something to have a picture of that.
Yeah. They were supposed to start up somewhere else, but I don't think they did.
No, I don't think they ever did start up something.
That was a lovely seafood restaurant. A little expensive, but it was a place to go if you wanted to celebrate a birthday or anniversary or something. That was the place to go.
Yeah. So, in the community, in a sense of community with people that work on the waterfront, was there a sense? Did you feel a sense of community with these people?
With other longshoremen I did, but other than that, the other businesses and stuff around there, I didn't have nothing to do with.
Yeah, we didn't really have anything to do with the other businesses around. No.
No, I don't think
and
so.
The tugs, we just waved to them and, they would take the barges away, line them up and, whatever.
That's it, yeah.
Tie the ships up,
Yeah.
Yeah, there really wasn't, yeah. Now, I'm just going to see what else we got there. So you say the safety has gotten a lot better. Was there any violence on the job? Or because of the job?
There would be some arguments once in a while, but I don't know of any. I mean, you might. Some guys that try to get.
Were you involved in any violence at all?
No, not me.
Okay.
No. I mean, there were some accidents that happened on the ship that happened to be just so happened to get a foreman in trouble or something.
There was no fights.
No.
Nobody.
Oh, there was a few, I guess, but I was never near one that really started.
What were the issues that if you remember, that you went on strike about?
Usually conditions and wages. I guess that's roughly what it is. Conditions and wages.
And were they settled to your satisfaction most of the time? Or?
Yeah, good enough. Yeah. Pretty fair. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we'll see what other questions that we need to ask here. Okay. Let me see. Yes. How did their work on the waterfront affect your family life and your lifestyle?
It really wasn't very good. My wife was saying she didn't know when I was working. When can we go on holidays? Because if I go on a holiday, maybe that's when the ships are going to start coming in. So I hesitated to go, and when I did go, that's what really messed things up. Not knowing when I was working.
Okay. Because you never know. If the ships weren't there, there's no work. If the
That's
ships
right.
are there,
Yeah,
there's work.
and there was no, I hear it now, they know ahead of time when the ships are coming in. Well, we never heard a word until the ship popped in.
Right, we never heard nothing. Now they got an app, shows you where the ships are all over the place. And when they're coming,
Yeah, well, there you go.
You just have an app, put it on your phone, and you can show every ship that's coming around. When it's going to be in, everything.
Oh, we didn't know a damn thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very nice.
Now, what was good about the job?
I liked the challenge of, the foreman would say, you clean up this hatch, and you can go home. And the whole gang of us would get together and figure out how to do it. The foreman could step aside, as he knew we were going to get that cargo done off efficiently and quickly and go home. And of course, then the ship was able to leave earlier too, so everybody was happy. Mm-hmm. I like that challenge, and better than going from 8 to 4. I like that challenge we had there.
Yeah, the finish up challenge was always good.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah. Getting a deal with the foreman.
Now, would you say that longshoring was a good job, something you'd recommend to someone else or not? Looking back on it.
I think so. Yeah. I guess it's more mechanized now than it was then. Obviously, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I mean, it's so different now that I wouldn't. Pretty hard for me to say.
Even if I was a young guy, 19 or 18,
Yeah.
and I had a chance to longshore.
I think so. Yeah. Because it's that variety of work that you're doing. I think is great instead of this monotonous one thing all the time. I think that could please a lot of people.
Yeah. Did you experience any really hard times? And
In the beginning, yeah.
in the beginning, explain to these hard times.
Well,
I'd like to know about them.
well, sometimes there was no ships coming in, maybe for a week or two, and there's no paycheck then. If you went and put in for unemployment, you had to wait 6 weeks, and before that 6 weeks was up, a ship would come in, and so it was canceled. You didn't get paid for that time that you waited for with no money coming in. So you get a few of those every year. It's hard to get ahead, especially with a family.
Yeah, especially with a family. What were the good times?
When there was steady work. When there was steady, were you working 5-6 days a week, or working afternoons and overtime and stuff, where you were making good dollars, and everything. It got that way after a while.
And how did your family like it when you were working steady?
They liked it better, but still, that not knowing when I was working and when I'm off, that wasn't there. It wasn't there until I started West Shore Terminals, where I was working a straight shift, and I could look ahead 6 months. I knew I could go on a cruise ship or something, or go away onto another country, and know that when I come back, the job's going to be there, and it's steady.
Yeah.
I didn't have that on the waterfront in New Westminster.
No. You'd be steady with, but you never were sure.
That's
You
right.
never steady.
No, we didn't. Yeah, sure.
You know, you never knew
So,
1 week from the next whether you were going to.
so when I got to West Shore, things looked a lot better.
Yeah. Now, these what they want is any photographs that you're willing to share with us, and you were going to email me.
Yeah,
those.
I'll
Good.
email you.
'Cause that's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, any old stories that you can tell me about?
I think I told you as I was going along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any old stories about Curly Smith? He was one character. He was a character on the beat.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't. I don't know. Very seldom worked with him, and if I did, he was very quiet about it. But I remember this one time we were working on this hatch. I was in the steady gang there, but not my gang. And Petrie was there. Mm-hmm. Keith Petrie. And he wasn't doing his share of work or something. And what's that foreman's name? That guy who wore a hat.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway, a little guy.
Little guy.
Yeah, a little grumpy guy. He told Keith, "You're not doing nothing. Go get us a bucket. Go get us our water." So we're down in the hold in the square, and the foreman came down to give us a hand. And when Keith came back with the water bucket, and the lids on those things, they stayed on pretty good. They were fixed on there. He said, and just for the hell of it, he went and tipped it over into the hatch. Said, "Here's your water," and the damn lid came off, and the whole works landed up on this guy's, on the foreman's head. Everybody. Cougar, that's it. Johnny Cougar. That's it, yeah. Well, of course, he got madder than hell and fired him. And the rest of us are just rolling around laughing like bloody hell. That was a good one. I remember him, he was looking after Johnny Cougar again, looking after two gangs, one in one hatch and the other. And he was down in one hold, and there was rust in the bulkhead, so he could watch through the bulkhead and watch the other gang. Well, one of the gangs was marking off, and that's when you get this paint in a bucket, and it's like water-based paint, and you stick a big mop in there and you slop it across the lumber because it's going to a different port than the lumber coming next. And he happened to be looking to the porthole, and somebody went and slopped that stuff to not the porthole, to this rusty hole in the bulkhead. He had to be looking through there, and he got this red dye all over his face. Again, everybody started laughing and giggling, and of course he didn't say nothing. He went up and washed up again. That was Danny Amber with the first.
Yeah. Gordy Twaits. At that time, marijuana was just coming in.
Oh yeah.
We were doing it, and we were down the hatch, and Kruger does it now. He comes down to this, we were doing it. She just, "Good, a new type of tobacco, Johnny, try this." And he had his pipe.
Oh yeah.
Takes it out, puts it in his pipe. He stuffs it. And we got worried. He was climbing the ladder up, and we got worried about him. He was doing that. He went up the hatch. We never saw the rest of the day, but we heard later on that he was acting a little bit high.
Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Johnny Cougar.
Oh, Johnny Cougar, yeah. So,
No.
I can't think of any other stories.
Well, when the shutdown in New Westminster, they shut the docks down and everything. How did that affect you? Do you remember what happened?
I remember it was the fire department, I think, came down and seen us loading fertilizer sacks, and it was explosive if you mixed it with diesel or something. Anyway, it was very. You could have blown up the whole darn town, you were saying?
Yeah, well, we loaded fertilizer. That was one of the things we did that for years.
Yeah. And
we had to load it with a certain weight on the ship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, to put venting.
Yeah. Okay. Now, tell me what happened this time you were doing it. Why we had to take it out of Newark, how that happened.
Oh, well, the fire department found out about that it could blow up the whole town, so they told us to take, these ships will have to go to Fraser Surrey Dock, and that's how Fraser Surrey Dock started up. It was just a grain elevator that would hold one ship, and eventually got to be more because of all the fertilizer had to go over there on the other side of the river. And to think of it, that we were a danger pay, when we were working those sacks, we got 10 cents an hour more. And here this stuff could have blown up the whole damn town.
Right, North Windsor could have been just like Halifax. If it had gone.
God, yeah.
And we had that for years, fertilizer.
Oh, yeah.
And of course it was, nobody knew about it.
No.
And we didn't know how dangerous it was. Nobody told us.
Remember somebody took a bag of that stuff, or a little bag of that fertilizer home, and the bag broke when he was walking across his front lawn, and he picked up most of it off his lawn, but that spot was brown for years.
Well, I remember that somebody put some fertilizer in a diesel forklift, pills,
Oh yeah,
and I remember he was kicked off the beach for that safety.
yeah, because that could blow up. I think that's
Yeah.
like you mix it with diesel or something.
Yeah, mixed with diesel, and he got kicked off the beach. But we didn't know. We were young. We didn't know
Most of
about
us didn't know.
no, how dangerous it was.
No.
And we didn't really know why. Like, there was thrown over the face of silly dog.
No, we found out later. Yeah.
Yes, we found out later that the
Try to keep it away from us.
yeah, because the fire department says no way. This is get it out of here.
Yeah.
And that. So, any stories that you can think of? Anything else that you can?
I don't think so.
No, it's okay. Well, just